How goes things, my compadre?
Pretty dope, pretty good. Just another day in the life. How about you, my friend? How goes things for you?
If I were any better, I'd be fucking out of this world.
So, like, having sex on the moon, or are we talking like Jupiter?
That's overrated.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's really weird because I imagine gravity really doesn't help you.
It really fucks with you. You can't get any traction. You know, they're like your whole momentum, your whole tempo is fucked.
You almost need straps for a different reason.
Really, yeah. God damn it.
And time. That didn't even take a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a minute on the nose.
On the nose. Like literally introductions like, yo, what's up, bro? How you doing? Sex talk?
Sits on the moon. Yeah.
That's right, homies. We back in this bullshit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I don't know if you heard the news or not, but there is quite the sad news that we need to report on here.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, pretty sad stuff. I'm pretty sure that everyone listening is probably going to be pretty broken up about this, and that is the Avengers game has now been discontinued as far as its live service goes. So it is effectively a dead game.
That's not the sad news I thought you were going to mention. I thought you were going to mention news, and my brain was like, I don't know if sad's the word I would use. But ironically enough, I could copy and paste that phrase to that bit of news too. I'm not sure if sad is the news I'd use. Yeah. For the Avengers video game. We're talking about the one you recently... Yeah, okay. Yeah, no.
Because that's completely sarcasm there.
There we go. Okay, I was hoping so. It's kind of like, when did you become a fan? What happened? But no, again, I'm not sure if sad is the word I would use there.
Yeah. A lot of you guys are probably wondering, that game was still a thing, or that game came out? What is that game?
Exactly. Yeah, not worth it.
Yeah. That game came out back, I believe, in 2020, which should tell you all you need to know about the game. It came out in 2020. Mm-hmm. You know, that was kind of a shitty year for everything, it seems.
Yeah.
You know, most things.
The news I thought you were going to expound upon was about the announcement of Justin Roiland and his career with Adult Swim, aka the guy who does Rick and Morty, one of the mighty duo. And I was like, I'm not sure if sad is the news there, but no, never mind.
Yeah. I mean, if he ever decides to come over to the superhero role, and I mean, he can fucking be Morty all over the place if he wants to.
I mean, that same voice he's been using for a lot of shows.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, not to go off on a tangent about Justin there, but
no.
Yeah. So right now, yeah, he's been dropped from basically everything. Mm-hmm. So yeah, they're gonna have to find new. I almost said voice actor.
Yeah.
For Rick and Morty, because he voiced so many characters. Same thing with High on Life. He was dropped from that studios. That's the video game that he helped produce that just came out.
Yep. More than likely, he's also getting dropped from Solar Opposites, which was his standalone project, away from Rick and Morty. You know,
right? And it's because of sexual. I would say sexual allegations. There's more to that. There's a bad word between sexual and allegations. Sexual abuse allegations. There we go. It's
happy to help.
Yeah, so there's a word in there that's like not good.
A really important one.
Yeah, I'm missing.
The judges really care about it. What's that word? Acute? No.
Yeah.
Abuse is not a joke. Yeah.
But yeah. So who knows what happens with Rick and Morty and all that. But you know, going back to this Avengers game really quick, you know, I was just thinking about this because when the game came out, obviously there was hype around the game, mostly just because of the name. I mean, the intellectual property of the Avengers, especially in the year 2020, means a lot. Mm-hmm. And I mean, they even went with the 6 that we get in the MCU for the first Avengers movie. So how could you really go wrong with that in terms of scope?
How
and reaching
could
people.
you?
Yeah. Well, funny story there, Kevin. They figured it out. The way you go wrong with it is not by making it an immersive video game that has in-depth gameplay and fun co-op playability. The way that you fuck it up is by making it a live service game. And I'm speaking for myself when I say this. I've never played a live service game that I love. I played some that maybe I kind of like for a little bit, and then it falls into obscurity. But what a live service game is, guys, just for an example, would be something like Destiny,
which became a free-to-play bullshit, by the way.
Yeah, but they also charge a lot of money for it, and it's weird.
Yeah. Like, literally, you can go to any of your gaming stores and download it for free. A full-ass Destiny 2 game, and... Oh, you want to play all this online bullshit? Oh, yeah. No.
A lot of microtransactions were had in the Avengers game. A lot of, buying skins and whatnot. And
where's the boo button? Boo.
We do need a boo button.
That would be a good button.
Yeah.
The boo button.
It'd probably be, boo, get off the stage.
Exactly.
Boo,
you suck.
Yeah. But also, it was just the fact that with that Avengers game, man, because I played the entire campaign. I have a knack for playing shitty games all the way through for some reason.
Yeah.
But I played the game all the way through, and I was like, wow, this really didn't get any better. And it felt like it wanted to serve so many masters. It felt like a knockoff of the live action Avengers, and it couldn't shake that feeling. It never had its own identity. And it was like, you contrast that with like the Guardians of the Galaxy video game, and it's like this game has like flavor from the movies, but also so much lore and character depth from the comics, and they mix it all together to tell their own unique story. And the Guardians of the Galaxy game was a really big breath of fresh air that not enough people played.
Yeah, to be frank, the Guardians of the Galaxy video game was amazing. It was really good, really hilarious, great time, good gameplay. Like, everything the Avengers game wasn't.
Yeah. And which, again, how do you fuck that up?
Exactly.
But, I did have a theory about something that was kind of interesting and related, and that is like where Gotham Knights stumbled. Because if you think about it, when Gotham Knights was in development, it had to have been around the same time that the Avengers game came out. And more than likely, the people who made Gotham Knights, WB Montreal, whether it was their decision or more than likely their higher ups, they probably had the idea to let's make it a live service game like Avengers. And then they saw how badly Avengers tanked and how it never recovered. And what I feel like what we got are the remnants of them scrapping what they had and trying to piece something together in a reasonable time frame.
Yep.
I think that is what we got, because you look at that Gotham Knights video game and you can see inlays of where they could have done a full live service game, quotation marks around game, but they didn't do it. They tried to go for something more personal, and that didn't work either because it felt very hollow and very incomplete. And actually, I got to give credit to the homie Caleb, because he also had like a similar theory as well around that. Speaking of which, you spent a little bit of time on the homie Caleb's podcast and Evolve Review recently, haven't you?
Hell yeah. Thank you, brother, because I was actually going to think of a creative way to interrupt you if you didn't, if we didn't make time to talk about that. But fuck yeah, I got to go talk on his podcast very recently. So homies, help us out, reach out, hit up his podcast. His show is called Entertainment Evolved, and it's pretty fucking great. I got to sit down and break down the Last of Us episodes 1 and 2 on HBO with him, and that was insanely fun. Really awesome, in-depth conversations. A lot of fandoms and a lot of good shit to be had.
Yeah.
Great show. Really awesome. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yep. From the homie Caleb.
Yeah.
Shout out to you, bro.
Completely agree. And Evolve Review, Entertainment Evolved, an amazing podcast. The Last of Us is an amazing TV show.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And actually, he just dropped episode 3 today. Don't ask me when the fuck he recorded that. He's a goddamn time traveler. But yeah, so if you guys wanted to get like full in-depth analysis of that, then yeah, definitely check out an Evolve review. You guys can hear Kevin give his take on that, along with the homie Caleb. And you guys can also get caught up with episode 3. But yeah, so definitely be sure to check that out.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so in terms of what we have here tonight, it's going to be a very interesting discussion. But before we get too far ahead of things, let me act like I've been here before. Homies one and all, welcome to the Superhero Homies podcast. My name is Quentin, and as always, I am here with the homie Kevin.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the shit. We are here. We're having a grand old time. Yeah, man, I'm excited. Tonight's actually going to be a very fun discussion. Mm-hmm. This is the closing of a chapter, which is always a very stoic and even a sombering experience.
It is.
Ooh-wee.
And you know what's funny, or
what's funny?
Maybe funny, maybe ironic again.
What's
you know
maybe
how
funny
we have,
and or ironic? Ironically funny.
Ironically funny. You know how we have, how do I put this? Very shitty timing when we do our episodes. We make an episode, and then shortly thereafter, there's this huge announcement that's about the shit that we just spoke about.
It is our curse, yes.
It is our curse.
It is our curse.
I think it's done on purpose.
Yep.
But, you know, as I was taking notes for this episode, I realized something, and that is James Gunn, I believe last month, so maybe like December, he said that sometime in January, he would give an updated slate for the new DCEU film universe.
Okay.
Today, as of this recording, Kevin, is January 30th.
Mm-hmm.
That means tomorrow is January 31st.
Correct. As of this recording date, that is perfectly logical. Yes, yes.
Which means that any day following that would either make James Gunn a liar, because we'd be in February, or he's going to drop some shit tomorrow.
Yep. 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 We're really setting ourselves up for failure. We should have done this tomorrow.
Right. But then knowing our luck,
we should have done this tomorrow. Yeah, okay. I had to think about that because I'm
right.
like, wait. Past, preterite, future tense?
Anyways. Days of future past, you know?
No, that would have been we should have had. We should have had. Yes. We should have had done this tomorrow.
Yep.
Have not.
Okay.
English.
But as you guys can probably tell by the name of this episode, we are discussing the end of an era. We will be talking about the rise and fall of the DCEU, how this whole thing came about, what happened, and so not only are we going to be talking about things that happened on screen that we all saw, but also things that happened behind the screens as well.
Mm-hmm.
There's
things
a lot
that we
of
all didn't get to see or want to see.
Right.
Yeah.
There's some really interesting shit to break down here, and I can't wait to get into some of this.
Hell yeah, man. So ultimately, let's begin with this. Let's not go easy into that good conversation. Why are we shutting down the DCEU? What is the overall, like, hey, cat's out the bag, this is why we're moving forward with something else. What's the reason?
Yeah, so the ultimate reason for that is, capital. It is definitely a money thing. This is going to be something that we're going to revisit as we kind of look at the track record here that we have for them. But if you think about it, the DCEU, it never gained its footing for several reasons. It never gained its footing. And so because of that, it never gained that kind of traction that it needed to build any kind of capital or to significantly grow its fan base. And they also made a mess of their own canon. And so what else are you to do? You couple that with the fact that there was a big merger done in 2022, where a man by the name of David Zaslav was like he ended up being the guy on top after the merger between Discovery and WB.
Okay.
And so he's like the big boss there. He's the guy who's steering the ship. And he pushed back some movies that he didn't think were ready to come out. He canceled some other movies. And then after a while, he brought in and hired the likes of James Gunn and Peter Safran to function as the co-CEOs of the DC Studios film animation division. And they are to report directly to David Zaslav. And so, yeah, I mean, when it comes down to why the DCEU never took off, or why it's being canceled, I should say, is because it doesn't have a structured future, and as it was not profitable enough.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's totally fair. That is a very fair breakdown. Good job with the elevator storytelling there, brother man, because yeah, it's as far as franchises go, of course there's only the two that come to mind, the Marvel and the DC. But as far as franchises go, it had a run. Mm-hmm. It feels like a short one though, right? It still feels like, that was a baby ass run. Right. Yeah. But again, it's a short run, compared to the comic book franchise industry rather than like the Hollywood franchise industry. So it's important to remember that.
Yeah.
You know, it didn't get a long lifespan compared to what we're feeling like we're used to. But realistically, Hollywood franchises, unless you're the fucking Fast and Furious, you don't have a long lifespan.
Right.
You know?
That's
or
true.
the Mission Impossibles. So
I mean, but even with Mission Impossibles, there's only 6 of those since 1999. You know, and so it's like even then.
So it's a very stretched out franchise.
I mean, hell, Rocky.
Jesus Christ.
I mean,
Are we putting Creed in that or no?
Yeah, he's part of that same universe.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah. I mean, are we going to talk about the Terminator franchise or the Alien franchise? I mean, you know, a lot.
I'm sorry, DC. I tried, man. I mean, maybe you're just short in general.
Right.
Shout out to the short kings, I guess. But
yeah. Hell yeah.
But yeah, dude. So yeah, I guess. Wow, with that much evidence, Christ, you don't think about all that. But yeah, no, that makes sense. With all that on the table, it's like, yeah, that'd be a short life.
Yeah. But also, I mean, to kind of give the DCEU some credit here, like they had a shorter lifespan, sure, but they produced more movies in their universe than those other franchises we just mentioned.
Without a doubt, yeah. Without a doubt. Those other franchises like one every 2 years.
Oh, if that.
I'm thinking Fast and Furious when I say that.
Yeah.
Mission Impossible? Yeah, like that's a whole other thing. Like everyone who saw those movies, you had a whole different job when the next one came out. You know?
And that's kind of the difference. Like with Mission Impossible, it's not even a shared universe. It is a franchise, but it's not a shared universe.
No.
You know, like none of those franchises we mentioned are really a shared universe, except for maybe arguably Creed.
No, Fast and Furious 2. They had those shit movies where, what the fuck were they? Hobson and Husk?
Oh yeah. Hobbs and Shaw.
What'd I say?
Yeah, I don't know what the
Hobson
fuck you
and
said.
Husk? What's funny is you knew what I meant.
You had the shitty dollar bin knockoff.
No, not even. I had the made in China ones. I don't know. I don't give a fuck. Excuse me. I don't care about those movies at all. I'm just kind of like, nah, the Hobson and the Husk. Yeah. I'm gonna get a cease and desist from Jason Statham and The Rock.
Yeah,
but
yeah. So you did make a point there. Yeah, that is correct.
Yeah, I just don't like that franchise at all. At all, I just can't stand it. 1 hour later, but Q, you don't understand. I just really don't like it. But no. So that all notwithstanding, I mean the big reason you mentioned was the first one, capital. You know. And unfortunately, money does make that world go around. Mm-hmm. Even those fictional worlds of all the comic book heroes that we know and love.
Well, capital was the reason why they started it, you know, because they wanted to...
They wanted to make money.
Yeah.
And it didn't.
Which does kind of, segue perfectly into like the inception of what would eventually become the DCEU, the DC Extended Universe. And that is like they've actually had plans for a shared universe since like the early to mid 2000s. So they've had plans to do that for a while.
Right.
Most notably, people go back to the movie I Am Legend, and you see a movie poster in the background of one of the scenes that has a Batman and Superman logo. And, so ever since then, people have been wondering, speculating, are we going to get a Batman Superman team up movie? When are we going to get that? What's that going to be? There have been plans for years. And this goes way back to like the death of Superman Lives. Remember that documentary we talked about? It goes back to that. And that movie never took off. But there was also plans at one point to have like that Nicolas Cage Superman team up with like the Joel Schumacher Batman. I can't imagine what atrocity of a movie that would have been. But this is how far back it goes.
Tonally, I am so confused. I don't know what to make of this movie.
And also, like with Tim, it would have to be directed by Tim Burton because Burton did Batman first, and then he was going to do the Superman movie. Or would it be directed by Schumacher? I don't even fucking know. It would have been
a train wreck. That would have been horrible.
I kind of want to see it like a morbid curiosity,
I want to YouTube it, and I don't want to pay to watch anything.
And I wonder, like, who would have been the Batman for that? Like, would it have been Clooney? Or would it have been Kilmer, maybe? Or would Burton have tried to have got back Keaton? I wonder. Like, there's so many questions that we'll never give the answer to.
My brain hurts.
But that was like, that's the first documented failed attempt. Like that one was so failed it never really.
I forgot to blink for like the past minute thinking about it.
Right. But that was the first failed attempt at like any kind of shared connectivity with the DC universe on screen. Now the second one, I kind of wish, I actually really wish we would have gotten. This one, when I say this one was close to being made, Kevin, they were literally days away from filming.
Okay.
So that means that the script was written, people were cast, the $250 million budget was set aside. They had a director, George Miller, the same guy who directed Mad Max Fury Road.
Awesome.
They had everything in place. Principal photography. They had done so much.
Well, pitter patter. Let me know the movie. I'm
the
curious.
Movie was Justice League Mortals was going to be the name of it.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
And
what the fuck happened? Who coughed up the wrong person?
You know what?
And offended.
I am going to blue ball you with that until I tell you about this movie.
How dare you? What the hell? I'm just gonna steal your notes.
How dare you? But Justice League Mortals sounded like a really cool movie, and as a matter of fact, guys, if you're interested, you can actually Google pictures and see like what the cast looked like. And so they had this wasn't going to be like an origin movie. They were already going to be a team, and so we were going to have basically like the core seven of the Justice League: Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Jon Stewart's Green Lantern.
And when was this to be made?
Which year? This was going to be made around 2007.
Okay.
So it would have actually predated the MCU.
Yeah.
It maybe would have came out 2008, but even then, we would have gotten the Justice League movie 4 years before an Avengers.
Right. Yeah. We would have got that Justice League movie around the time we were introduced to Iron Man.
Yeah.
Because 2008 was our boy Tony Stark.
Actually, no, that is not. That is technically not true because of so many pushbacks and whatnot. And the reason I know that's because of why this movie never came to be.
Okay.
But the movie sounded really cool. So we had Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Jon Stewart's Green Lantern. We had Barry Allen, that's the Flash. We had Martian Manhunter and Aquaman. And
So
there's
almost
actually,
just like the animated show.
yeah,
Interesting.
exactly. They took a lot of cues from the animated show, according to like reports on this. And the movie was actually going to have Maxwell Lord be the main villain. Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
and basically his whole plot was that I mean, it was a rather simple plot, but good enough for a movie like this. Basically, Maxwell Lord's a greedy son of a bitch, and so they took together several different comic books to make this plot. One of which was Tower of Babel. That's the famous Justice League story where Batman's computer is hacked and all the files on the Justice League are taken, including his files on how to stop them. They were going to adapt that story with another story called the OMAC Project, which is another story where Batman had developed Batman developed the satellite known as Brother Eye, which basically kept an eye on every single metahuman to monitor them. But it also gave him like way too much power, honestly. Like not like physical power, but way too much
Control.
interference. Yeah, control.
This, hearing those back to back does not make Batman sound all that good. Hearing them back to back is like, Batman was one doorstep away from being the ultimate villain.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah.
But the OMAC Project, that story is where it introduces Maxwell Lord again, and in the comic books. And the cool thing about that story was it is found out that obviously Maxwell Lord is the one who's orchestrating things. He had hijacked Batman's satellite, Brother Eye, this super advanced AI, and used it for his own OMAC project. And yeah, so he's going to use that to basically be the world superpower and have the potential to bring the world to his knees at his own beckoning. And they took a lot of cues from both of those comic books, including Superman being mind controlled by Maxwell Lord. That was a very famous panel from the pages. So they were gonna have like this whole showdown between like the robots, aka the OMACs,
Right.
and then the Justice League, and it was going to culminate with Barry Allen sacrificing himself. From the third story that they took a cue from, Infinite Crisis, Barry Allen's going to sacrifice himself to stop Maxwell Lord, basically running so fast that Barry becomes one with the Speed Force, killing himself, stopping Maxwell Lord, ending the OMAC project, and Wally was going to take his place at the end of the movie. And the movie sounded really cool. I mean, it sounded like it was going to be like a lot of big fun. They said that everybody was going to have their moment to shine in this movie, and that there's going to be a lot of focal point here on the Flash because the Flash is going to be the one to sacrifice himself at the end. So why did this movie never come to be? Well, after much deliberation and as much as they wanted to move forward with this, after the 2011 debacle of Green Lantern, they said maybe we should not. So it's due to other circumstances and Green Lantern, we did not get Justice League Mortal.
Wow.
Yeah. So
And you think Oz liked the Green Lantern?
it is important, homies. Kevin said liked with the
Yeah.
a D on the end.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Shout out to you, Oz, because we understand it's past tense now, but it's like we know through that research, and thank you for sharing the history there, brother, that the Green Lantern movie was, is no longer acquitted, but instead now being charged with crimes of 2 murders instead of just 1.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, yeah, DC had plans, but
Sure.
those plans never came to fruition.
But those are movies from a long time ago, presumably now. The Green Lantern and the Justice League Mortals notwithstanding, because that's not that long ago. That would have been around the time frame to potentially start the DCEU.
Yep.
Would those have particularly been part of it? Because I know Green Lantern was a movie, but was that advertised as part of the DCEU?
See, that's the interesting thing is that no, it was never. It was never explicitly advertised as such. And as a matter of fact,
which movie kicks off the DCEU then?
that would be Man of Steel.
Okay, good,
Yes.
good. Okay, thank you. Okay.
Yeah. Because like even if Justice League Mortal had been a thing, like technically there still would not have yet as of yet been a DCEU. Their plans were to make that movie first and then branch out and do individual movies. Which, spoiler alert, I think that they should still do. I think that would be like the best approach. But yeah, so that's what happened with that movie. It was pretty ill-fated. So they had plans, and they were gonna try to aim for like a 2013 film date. But again, they were like, nope, not gonna do that.
Lame.
Yeah. So now we're gonna go to the movies that do consist of the actual DCEU, which did start proper in 2013. But before we do that, there's 4 things that I was able to find, not from me, but from critics and fans in general. 4 things that people typically have a serious problem with the DCEU.
Oh, okay.
And from what I could find, those 4 things seem to be the tone, the connectivity, meaning how their shared universe feels,
Okay.
lackluster storytelling, and poor mapping. Yeah.
I mean, the first 3 of those agreed, like full on. Like no disagreements in the least. The tone of the movies do vary to and fro. You know, I personally won't give the DCEU hack for that much of it personally because
I'm actually with you on that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because it's like, how boring would the Marvel universe be if all of them were tonally the same?
Right.
I like at that point it's like, okay, this plot line happened in these 2 other movies. Oh, that plot line happened in those 2 others. But instead, now we get fun movies where it's like, yeah, we got the Winter Soldier in the same universe where we got Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, same year.
Yeah, thank you. I didn't even realize I made that happen. There you go. But it's like, yeah, those are 2 dramatically different tones.
Right. And they're both hits.
They're both big and awesome hits, not just critically, but by fans.
Right.
So I'm not going to give them that much hack for that personally. You know, whatever. Cool. I get it, though. What was the other one? Excuse me, there were 2 more.
Storytelling. People had a problem with the storytelling in the DCEU.
Yeah, no, I can't disagree with that. That's pretty on the nose. We've discussed that in length.
Yep.
And
poor mapping basically.
What was the other one? You said 4. I can't remember the other one too.
Poor mapping.
No. There were. You mentioned bad storytelling, tone,
connectivity.
There it is, connectivity. Yep. Yes.
Yeah.
Like, what were they saying? Like, it was bad connectivity, or it was just.
So basically, it would be like, okay, you go from this movie to that movie. What's been retconned now? What hasn't? We're having a hard time keeping up.
Yes. They didn't hire that specialist.
Right.
Yeah. They didn't hire Kevin Feige to say, hey, so maybe we need to make this and this make sense between these movies. You know? Yeah. So I get that. I full on agree. And then poor mapping. What do they mean by that? I'm curious.
Yeah, so that would be like when Man of Steel came out, if they had proper mapping, then they would have known, okay, so this 2013, by the year 2018, we're going to have Justice League Part 2, and in this movie, this is going to happen, and they know everything in between. So when they're like with the MCU, at least in years prior, they had 5-year mapping processes, and those 5 years were pretty detailed planned out, and had a loose 10 years planned out.
Okay. I can agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not what I thought they were going to reference with that, but that actually is a really good point. So, yeah. Okay. Agreed.
So what I want to do now here, and we don't have to spend a lot of time on all of these, but I want to look at the 12 DCEU movies that have came out so far, and technically we still have 4 more to come out this year, and then no more.
This already sounds like if I just imagined the poor teacher sitting in front of the classroom, like getting told that, hey, this is my full packet. This was like the semester's end project. I'm turning it in. And the last 33% of it's still yet to come. Like, no, you turned in an almost half-empty packet. What are you talking about? So, in other words, I don't feel like we're getting those 4 movies, brother. I feel like something's going to happen. I don't know. I hope not. No, but my brain just told me, like, nah, that's almost a failing grade.
No, I mean, I don't see why we wouldn't get these at this point. I mean, James Gunn said, yeah, this is what we're getting this year. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, better question. Mm-hmm. Besides the chance for DC to make money, I almost feel like this is just pointless. Like, my enthusiasm for whatever these movies are is kind of like, oh, well, But, I don't know. Let's not talk about that. Let's talk about the 12. What you got?
All right, yeah. So the first one I do want to spend a little bit of time on here because this is a divisive movie, and that is Man of Steel. Came out in 2013, June 14th.
I liked it. I remember people gave it hack, but it's like, no, I liked it.
Yeah. So did I, and it wasn't a perfect movie, but I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I want to talk about some of the issues that people had with this and why I take issue with some of their issues.
That's the issueception.
It is issueception.
Mm-hmm. That's the layered ass issue.
Yes.
Yeah. Do tell. Do spill the tea.
So the number one thing that comes up is people don't like the portrayal of Superman. They think he's they say that he's broody and dark, and he doesn't have that hopeful optimism that Superman is typically attributed to having. And to that, I say this was a fucking origin movie. If you look at the original Christopher Reeves and Richard Donner Superman movie, definitely great for their time and a really great portrayal of Superman, but they throw him into the role as he is. We don't see him become Superman. We don't see him growing up. We don't see him maybe struggle with shit that would happen if you were a fucking alien.
Yeah.
And so what I really actually appreciate about Man of Steel is that we actually see him grow into the Superman that he would eventually become. He doesn't just start off that way knowing what to do. He has to figure that shit out.
Right.
And, people call that deconstructionism. I call that just having an origin story. That would be like saying I don't like Batman Begins because Bruce Wayne doesn't know how to fight until, a certain point in the movie or whatever. And it's like he has to become Batman. Okay. You have to give him time for that to happen. And I don't feel like people gave Henry Cavill time in that movie to become Batman. I mean, Superman or Batman. They don't give time to become Batman.
Either of them, yeah. That happened.
The other issue people have with this is they think that it is gratuitous destruction. I mean,
they did make those cities look like the Earth was dead.
3 Kryptonians come to Earth, 3 of which are battle-hardened warriors.
Yeah.
And they're battling the newbie who just learned how to fly.
Yeah.
And what the fuck do you want Superman to do here? So it's like, I do understand people's frustration with that. However, I think it's a little misplaced simply because what the fuck do you want the Kryptonians to do? Hey, Clark, you're a good kid. You're fucking excellent. I'm glad to see you. My name's Zod. You're one of us. You found a home. That's what you've been looking for. Perfect. We're going to destroy this place. You don't really live here, right? You good. Yeah. Oh, you have a problem with that. I'm going to beat the ever-living fuck out of you until you submit. And it's like, yeah, I mean, people die. People died. And I think it kind of ruined people's perception that Superman can save everybody. And to that, I say good.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, and so yeah, like I do understand like the divisiveness of this movie, but I think a lot of it is really misplaced. I don't like Jonathan Kent in this movie at all. That was a mistake. But also, I will say this, and then we can move on here. Man of Steel, out of the 12 movies we've seen so far from the DCEU, Man of Steel has the best villain. General Zod was a fantastic villain, and Michael Shannon did a fantastic job.
No surprise from Michael Shannon.
Yeah. So the next one, 3 years later, we get Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice.
This movie got a lot of hack too. BVS.
It did. So Batman versus Superman, I think that its biggest problem is its placement. I don't know why we get this movie right here.
Yeah, it wasn't really well thought out. They go from one movie, which definitely is built around the idea of two like-powered individuals having a really big bout, to two powerhouse names in the DC universe having really big bout. You know?
Well, It's like, why is Batman being introduced being fast-tracked in a movie with Superman when Superman deserves a sequel and Batman deserves a solo film? And also, we have to talk about some behind-the-scenes stuff here. Like, behind the scenes, Zack Snyder's getting more and more frustrated. Ben Affleck was getting more frustrated because they were both told that they would be getting other projects to do here. For example, Ben Affleck was supposed to get his own trilogy to direct. Ben Affleck is actually a really great director, and he was going to direct a Batman trilogy. He never got that. Instead, the studio said, we're going to do a Batman versus Superman movie as the second movie in their shared universe. As the homie Kayla would put it, that's like if the MCU had Civil War as their second movie. It's not quite like that, but close enough.
That's a pretty close example. Yeah, I can see it. Because then it's like we go from Iron Man to Iron Man, and here's Cap. Oh, he fights Iron Man.
Yeah, it would be like Civil War if it just was, those two. Like if the second movie in the MCU was Captain America versus Tony Stark. But I mean,
it's funny to think about.
Yeah, and besides that, there was so much studio interference with BVS that like any kind of coherent story that could have been told, you don't get until the director's cut, which is a familiar theme with Zack Snyder and the DCEU.
Who's in charge of the DCEU at this point in time? Because we can definitely sense here that there's a lot of micromanaging. Yeah, there's a lot of too many hands in the pot.
Yeah, too many cooks, you could say.
Yeah, too many cooks in the pot. Stop cooking your cooks.
Yes.
That's how the phrase goes.
But in terms of who was in charge, I mean, and that's another problem. They were like a team of people. It's like Jeff Johns, Walter Hamada. He was probably the biggest one. Then there was one other person. I forget her name.
Okay, her name.
Yeah.
Kathleen Kennedy.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
I'm sorry, Q. Her name just whispered in the wind.
Oh,
like a bad curse.
Oh, there's a chill in the air.
Kathleen Kennedy.
No.
Brother, you forgot your coat. Also, I'm a little cold. I got my full-on hoodie.
I see that.
Yeah, like I got my hood up. I got my long sleeves going here. I'm like, why am I cold? I don't know.
Well, yeah, you got any other thoughts on BVS?
I mean, it wasn't a bad movie. I enjoyed it, but it's a story that didn't get the movie it deserved. And that could be said on repeat for a lot of these. So I'm just going to hold that comment till the end, I suppose. Because otherwise, that's going to be the other new button.
Right.
It didn't get what it deserved. It didn't get what it deserved.
Yeah.
Because that's an amazing story and a beautiful storytelling moment in the pages. And you feel the power of its story coming off the ink and the writing just alone.
Yeah.
And the movie felt not that. The movie itself just felt more like an advertising bit trying to set itself up to the next project, And that's weak. That's bad.
Yeah.
You should never spend your current project trying to sell your next one. Spend this present one telling an amazing story, and then use your writing to set up something dope in the future. Don't use your entire project to say, hey, do this or that, or set up an agenda. It's like it's a freaking superhero homie commandment or something.
Right.
Oh my gosh. It's like we talk about it.
I know, yeah.
I'm scared. All right. Who's third?
Next we get Suicide Squad in August 5th of 2016.
Who's fourth? Because that movie doesn't exist to me. There's only one Suicide Squad. Oh, wait. What's the old political phrase? Not my Suicide Squad.
Oh, yeah. Don't tread on my Suicide Squad.
Oh, my gosh. You just got like a Harley Quinn and a Deadshot snake flag or something. Yeah. It's a really confusing image.
Yeah, I don't know.
You had to buy it off Etsy.
But yeah, Suicide Squad was next. And I mean, this ended up being, again, more intense studio interference.
Yeah,
to the point where because
good casting, but then again, none of the movies have had bad casting.
None of them have had bad casting. Yeah. And David Ayer, I really like his work, but like with this movie here, and he has since spoken about his frustrations. Yeah, he didn't get to make the movie that he was told he would be able to make, and so unfortunately, we don't really get to know like what the final version of his movie will ever look like.
The good news about this movie, though, is that it did give us some breath for some interesting cosplays. That was fun.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah. We saw some really cool Harley Quinns after this movie came out. And I saw a couple of cool Enchantresses after this. It was like, oh, that's creepy. That's interesting. Yeah.
So, that's a little difficult to pull off there.
Oh, yeah. I got, I know one chick, she did a really good job with it. It's like, oh, good for you. Yeah. Creepy.
Ultimately, the Suicide Squad, it just...
And help me and the homies understand. Let me get a definitive helping answer. The first one, this one, number 4, its proper name is...
Suicide Squad.
So no article. There's no the in front of it. It's literally 2 words, Suicide Squad.
Yep.
Thank you. And this is the Will Smith one.
Yes.
The 2000 what one?
16.
Thank you. Okay. I needed that because I get the two confused. I'm just like, which one's got the article? I don't know. So good to know. Thank you. Okay, moving on. Number 5.
Next we get Wonder Woman in June 2nd of 2017, directed by Patty Jenkins.
I enjoyed this movie, to be honest. I liked Gal Gadot.
Yeah,
I
I'm
liked
right with
it.
you.
But it definitely felt familiar, I think we've made the comment before where it's kind of like, oh, this feels like Captain America to a degree. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, like the first Captain America movie and the first Wonder Woman movie, Cap 1 has the much better third act. Mm-hmm. Wonder Woman has the much better first and second act.
I can see that. Yeah. I mean, again, I might be biased. I remember that movie very well. I went to watch it with a date, and I was like, man, I might be biased, but I'm having a good time. Yeah. So, heaven forbid. But yeah, I mean, I remember really being impressed with Gal Gadot, which, again, let's make that a separate tag button. I'm tired of that joke. I'm not going to keep making it. But another button saying the casting was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gal was really good. I really liked... oh man, what was his name? He
Chris
played Chris Pine. It's Steve Trevor.
Homies, it finally happened. Jesus. Wow. Quentin, did you see that? Dude, you were here for it.
I was here for it.
Are you proud?
I'm proud.
I'm proud. Oh my gosh. Excuse me, we can't move on yet. Just homies, sit in this moment with me. Just I want to thank the fans. I want to thank my parents. Oh, brother, that's the first time that I knew an actor and that you asked an actor, because it's always the reverse. I'm always like, yeah, who such and such, him and her, them and they, and you're just like, no, you mean this person and this name and this, because normally that's like, okay, that's all. I want to say I am purely joking, and I am mostly joking. It's like 80-20, but I am still 20% like, wow, that was new. In all of our years of content, that's the first time that happened.
Hey.
Yeah.
First for everything.
Literally, first for everything. Anyways, yes, Chris Pine, you were saying.
Yeah, I really enjoyed him in the role as well.
Yeah.
I thought that they dropped the ball with Ares.
That dude, I dislike that so hard, and that was the one of the biggest problems with the third act. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. This Ares being like a suitcase toting. Well, I'll be, ha ha ha. Real skinny guy who's like, now I'm angry.
Right. Yeah. Then generic, obligatory, big CGI fight.
Of course.
And it just didn't mean anything. Yeah. The only good thing about that was Steve's sacrifice. I thought was really impactful. Just unfortunately, it was against a villain that was just so fucking one dimensional.
Right.
Yeah. Right. But yeah, and also just seeing Wonder Woman, seeing her growth in this movie, seeing her actually have character development and traits. Mm-hmm. Man, I wish that the MCU copied that when they made Captain Marvel.
Right. Thank you. It's ironic. I actually used this example the other day with someone because we were talking about feminism representation in comic book movies. Mm-hmm. And, and again, homies, I understand my voice can only go so far in this discussion. I understand that. It's like, I get that. I don't have the authority to speak on a lot of that. But when it comes to comic book materials, you best believe I kind of do.
Hell yeah.
We've been in this game for it feels like 5 years plus now.
Yeah.
Whether it's on or off mic.
Right.
And it's like, at that point, we know something.
Okay? Yeah, a little something.
But not to sound presumptuous, I suppose. But yeah, in this case, it's like, I use that example. It's like, which movie made you feel like there was better representation of female empowerment? Was it A, Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman, B, Captain Marvel? And they're sitting there, and I see them comprehending. I see the gears turning. I see everything clicking into place and everything beginning to function. Like, oh yeah, it was Wonder Woman. Oh. It's like, well, I'll be. Okay, but that's enough of that. Moving on.
Yeah. So next up, we in November 17th, 2017, we get Justice League.
Yes.
Yes.
And general direction.
And man, so there's obviously a whole lot of shenanigans that happened here.
Yes.
Zack Snyder was fired and was replaced with Joss Whedon. And a lot of the movie was gutted, taken out, rewritten, reshot. And what we got was a mess, to put it lightly. We got a Frankenstein of a film.
Yeah. And
it was just this hobbled together mess of Joss Whedon's greatest hits trying to merge with the remains of Snyder's storytelling, but it didn't mesh.
No, not at all.
And so we got awkward comedy bits. We got neutered performances and themes. And we're going to talk about the Snyder Cut here in just a second here, but when you look at the differences in this night and day, and it's like, how in the hell what's going on at WB for them to look at that final cut of Justice League and think it's a good movie? I theorized they were only looking at name value. This guy made Avengers 1 and 2. So whatever he wants to do, he's going to give us one of those. He did not.
Again, just more evidence of studio interference and how its payoff is a lack of payoff, and how it's literally too much studio interference literally leads to dumping and making your product trash. Yep. And it's it's funny. It's you think they'd see the pattern and be like, maybe we should leave these guys alone and let them do their thing. And here we are instead.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. It's I don't know who is in charge of DCEU at this point. I don't know who got to make those majority decisions in this whole group community meeting that they had up there in their executive ballrooms. But I don't know, man. Whatever ego they were trying to fuel, I hope it wasn't. Because it's clear to me that this is like the evidence of micromanagement and just like poor decision making on like an executive level, and it's just raining down that shit hill.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's hitting people the wrong way because it's like, no, this affected obviously quite a few movies beforehand, at least 3 others, not including Man of Steel, presuming Man of Steel went the way they wanted it to. We don't know. It was the first. Right. Who's to say?
Yeah.
First in that train. We don't know if it's a shit train yet. And then it literally caused all these other movies to not be as successful as they could have been.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And also pissing off great and awesome names that go on to do better things, i.e. Zack Snyder, i.e. Carl Fisher, freaking Gal Gadot. Carl Fisher, help me out. No, that's a production studio for making method books for teaching how to play music. So
I'm not familiar with this Carl Fisher.
No, help me out, brother, man. Cyborg.
Oh, yeah, Ray Fisher.
Ray Fisher.
Yes.
Okay, I got the Fisher.
Yeah, you did.
See, now we're back to normal. No worries, guys. Apocalypse isn't here yet. We're good. But, yeah. So it's like, no, you're pissing off all these good names with this one movie that didn't even turn out to be good. It created for the first time in my knowing a very powerful internet thunderdome of hashtag Snyder Cut, hashtag Snyder Cut.
Yeah.
This was the birth of that movement.
This was the birth of that.
Literally, that movement. Yes.
This was the birth of like, as soon as, like, the internet got a whiff of, wait, so the entirety of Snyder's movie exists? It's on a hard drive somewhere?
Yeah.
Release the Snyder Cut. And I love how, like, I'll be the first to tell you guys, I'm a huge Zack Snyder fan. But I love how when he did come back inevitably, he did bullshit his way because was his movie completed? No. It technically was not. But the man himself came back and did a lot of work on the finishing rendering and touches on the movie. Like shit that like a director normally wouldn't do.
Yeah.
But Zack is a fan and I mean he's very passionate about what he works on. But yeah. So I mean, we all know that Justice League did not go the way that DC wanted it to. I mean, that's an understatement.
It really is. And it's a repeated statement because that could be said for all these movies, dude.
Right. Except for, I think at this point, like, I believe Man of Steel made about $668 million. BVS, just because of the 2 powerhouse names, made about 800, and I think it was 880 million.
Sure.
Suicide Squad made significantly less. I have the numbers actually here somewhere. Wonder Woman, I believe, actually made really well out of all the movies here that were presented here. Okay. Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, Wonder Woman actually made 822 million. So yeah. Suicide Squad actually made 746 million, so not bad. But the next movie we get here is Aquaman, which came out December 21st, 2018.
I just realized we have no idea what Wonder Woman has been presently doing.
We have no idea.
No, the only thing she ever did presently was
join the Justice League.
Yeah, join the Justice League. Like, help stop a fight between 2 other big names and join Justice League.
That's it.
Other than that, the only other method that we learned about her history, her play, whatever, is through flashbacks that were really long.
Yeah.
AKA Wonder Woman and 1984.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. That's funny to think about. It's like, oh, we don't get a lot of you presently, do we? Yeah.
Yeah. I get doing it once. But twice?
Yeah. That wasn't a good... Anyways, we're not talking about 1984 yet.
No. So Aquaman, December 21st, 2018.
That was okay.
I don't know what it is about this movie, but I mean, this movie by far made the most in the DCEU. Oh yeah.
Jason.
I mean, maybe so. Maybe it is just off the strength of Jason Momoa. But
I gave Q a very confused look at first, like, I don't believe you. You got your numbers mixed up. You mistyped something. Oh, Jason.
It made about $1.1 billion. Yeah. I mean, so Aquaman cleaned up. And you know what? I mean, I think out of all of these movies, Aquaman is the most traditional action movie. I think it's tropey. I think that it is. I think that it's very visually stunning. I love the look of it, and actually really like what you mentioned a few weeks ago. You said this off mic, I believe, but you said, "Man, Aquaman has better water visuals than Black Panther 2," and I was like, "Fuck, it does."
Yeah.
But I mean, I again, like you mentioned before, I like the casting.
Oh, the button's right there.
Oh, there it is. Yep. I mean, getting Yahya Abdul-Mateen the second, not the first. No one knows the first, but the second to play Black Manta was really smart. And I mean, I'm actually looking forward to seeing what he does.
Amen, dude.
Yeah. In the sequel here. And then, getting Orm the Ocean Master. I mean, those fight scenes were really good. The trench scene looked really good.
Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah.
But ultimately, this is like the story came down to it being a generic globe-trotting adventure explodey movie. With a very charismatic lead, which again, and God damn it, I hate that. I hate when Hollywood is right, but I mean, the movie made fucking $1 billion, so
Yeah, I mean, if it made a billy,
yeah,
that's something.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as Hollywood's concerned, that's a win. As far as we as story appreciators are concerned, fuck, that's a Hollywood win.
It's a Hollywood win.
Yeah, that's what we gotta say. We gotta shrug and say, dadgummit, they did it.
But I mean, I guess there does need to be movies like this. I'm not saying that I'm not saying that the fun popcorn flicks should not exist. They should. So maybe I'm being too hard on Aquaman. This is kind of the first of its kind here in the DCEU, but I wish we had gotten more quality, different stuff. You know, like
nothing quite as tropey.
Yeah.
Okay.
So next up, in April 15th, 2019.
What number is this? 7 now?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, 7.
Okay.
We get Shazam.
I liked it.
Yeah,
I thought it was good.
Me too.
Zach did a really awesome job.
Yeah. Zachary Levi did a really good job. And I think that like seeing again, like his character growth was really, really good. Really, really cool to see. Like he's having fun, having a grand old time. I got superpowers. Look at me.
I'm bulletproof.
Yeah.
I'm bulletproof.
Right. Yeah. And then Dr. Savannah punches him in the face, and then shit gets real for the kid. And he's like, "Oh, this is not a fucking game." And I love that kind of realization that this isn't what I thought it was. And what do I do now? But I mean, no, like again, it's not reinventing the wheel, but I thought it was a fine movie.
Yeah. No. Same here. Same here.
It really had no ties or connectivity to any other movie, and it's interesting because Aquaman really didn't either.
We haven't seen Shazam 2 yet, have we?
No, it comes out this year.
Oh, okay, okay. I genuinely couldn't remember because I feel like I've already seen it.
Probably because like they've been showing a lot of different trailers and promotional material for it.
Yeah, and it just kind of feels familiar already.
Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah.
Okay, that's projected. That's not fair. Anyways.
Next up, February 7th, 2020, we get Birds of Prey. What are your thoughts on that, Kevin?
So what's number 9?
It's also Birds of Prey.
What?
Yep.
What?
No.
I was about to say, what's your history? I don't remember this history. I'm not from the... No comment. No, I'm depressed. You remember that time when they released the movie as Harley Quinn? And then they re-released the movie as... Harley. Oh no! They released the movie as Birds of Prey,
and then
they re-released the title after its release and said Harley Quinn in the Birds of Prey.
Yep.
You remember how that happened? After the movie hit the theaters already.
Yep.
It had already been seen by hundreds and millions of people. It happened already, and then they changed the fucking title mid in the. This is so stupid, dude. Again, micromanaging literally to where like, guys, it's too late. You turned in the test. The scores are being graded. You know you failed. You can't write on the ending. Oh, and a bonus answer.
Yeah.
Disappointing. Like this is another, just like another layer on top of the disappointing cake that is DC's like micromanaging skills. And that's not a good skill to have, by the way. So,
but I guess also in terms of a shared universe, I don't know what the idea was for this movie. Like, what's the long-term plan?
I don't think they
here?
knew either.
Yeah, and also I don't know how you do a Birds of Prey movie without Oracle. That is the comic book purist in me speaking. But again, if that makes me a purist of all things. God fucking forbid that I want to see Oracle in a movie called Birds of Prey. I'm the bad guy for that? Really?
I personally don't think you are, buddy. Excuse me. Come here.
No. That would be like saying, hey, Superman's not in this Justice League movie. Oh, you fucking purist. What, you want to see Superman in the Justice League movie?
Well, technically, he wasn't in like most of Justice League. Like 2/3 of the movie, he was dead.
I mean, yeah,
Spoiler alert.
But like the point being is that like if there was, it would be like people saying like, well, you complaining about there not being this element that is very crucial.
Yeah.
And,
I full on agree with you. You know. Yeah. So.
Yeah. So with Birds of Prey, with them basically just again shoehorning in Harley Quinn into another movie, and again like I actually like Margot Robbie. I don't always like what she's given, and I'm not particularly a big fan of fast tracking past like the straight up villain stages of Harley, straight to what I call her Deadpool phase, which is to me her most boring phase. I mean, if the most interesting thing that you do is date Poison Ivy, then you need some better writing. And I'm referring obviously to the comic books at this point here, but it's like, you know, we got to do something else here to pick you back up. But yeah, so Birds of Prey just, I mean, it was a misrepresentation in terms of like the name of the movie, as you mentioned. And then they did change it to, what was it? What was the full name of the movie? Harley Quinn and the Emancipation. No, Birds of Prey and the Emancipation of One called Harley Quinn. Like that was like the full name of it or something like that. But yeah, it was a baffling movie with really weird decisions made throughout. They had Ewan McGregor playing Black Mass, Roman Sionis, and they also had.
I remember being excited for that.
Yeah. Sorry about that. They also had, I believe they had Zaz in the movie too, as a henchman to Black Mass.
They did.
Yeah, this is one of those cases where I'm not sure if anyone on script had read a comic. You know, I don't think so. But yeah, Birds of Prey was a movie, and it happened. So next up, December 25th, 2020, we get Wonder Woman 84.
Yeah.
Again, like this movie to me, its biggest downfall was the fact that I don't care to see you in the past anymore, Wonder Woman. Yeah. Catch up.
Again, we need something present.
Yeah.
Well, who acted opposite of her?
Kristen Bell.
No, not Bell. Christian.
Not Bell.
I don't think so.
Okay.
No, that's a different actress.
Oh, okay.
I think.
I'm about to I forget her name because she's normally like in comedies, right?
Yeah.
I don't.
She's one. There it is. Okay. Looking up the cast now. I'm supporting Kristen Wiig. Yes. Yeah, she's a very funny, very hilarious woman. She was one of the better things about the movie for me. I got to see her acting chops because when she was cast as a villain, it's like, wait, interesting. Because she's normally like the funny girl from SNL.
Yeah.
You know, she's got some great comedies under her belt, great movies. But I've never seen her in like this villainous role, and sure enough.
Yeah. Even though like her villainous role was, again, it was, there's certain villain tropes in Hollywood, you know. And
she got both hands out for this. He brought both hands out to talk with them. It's about to be real.
And she fit into villain category number 2, which is the good nerdy person who's being downtrodden in life. who gets a
like
rebirth.
Your
Electro,
yes, like your
Catwoman from Batman Returns,
Killian.
Aldrich Killian.
Yep.
He's another one. I mean, there are plenty in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And again, it is a trope, and another trope that goes along with it. They are always socially awkward nerds, and they always wear glasses until they become a villain. In
Then
which
they're
case,
basically hot all of a sudden.
their eyesight is fixed, and they're super attractive now. I don't fucking understand it.
In Aldrich Killian's case, he could walk normal again. Like, wait a minute, evil made you walk? What?
Evil made you walk. God damn it.
That's right. I said it.
Yes.
I'm putting that up for a contender for quotes of the evening.
Yeah, and of course, Pedro Pascal played Maxwell Lord in this movie. He got like a weird monkey paw thing instead of his psychic powers.
Right.
Yeah. There are some interesting decisions made throughout the movie. Some of this movie worked, some of it didn't for me. But ultimately, again, with this movie being set in the past, it could do nothing to push the DCEU forward.
Yeah.
Next up, March 18th, 2021, we get Zack Snyder's Justice League.
It finally happened.
It finally fucking happened. And
4 hours later.
Yeah.
4 hours? How long's the movie? 4 hours?
Almost
4 hours.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. That's the joke I was trying to make, but then
Okay.
I ruined it by having to reassure myself, like, wait, was it 4 hours? Yeah, okay. But yeah.
Yes. The Snyder Cut. I think that this is tremendous. I absolutely adore this movie, and I mean it. Just to see Zack's vision on screen was a blast for me, because I'm like, this is what the man wanted to do from the beginning, and this is what the studio said no to. Like, you guys really are a bunch of idiots up there, huh? Man, you guys spend your lunch breaks all trying to fuck a football together. Like, what is happening up there? But yeah, man, any thoughts about the Snyder Cut?
Dude, I'm glad that we got to give a happy ending to Zack Snyder, who definitely deserved it, who was unrighteously fired from the Warner Brothers team. But yeah, man, it exists. It's still up and available on HBO, correct? I thought so. Good. I'm glad Warner Brothers took the humble pill. Like we gotta give them roses when they've earned them. And I'm glad they took the humble pill and said, you know what, internet's asking for it. It's gonna make us money. We know internet is gonna pay for this, so we'll take the L. We'll put it out there, and of course, you know, I say take the L with quotations around it, because it's really like, yeah, we'll make money off this. You know.
Yeah, I mean, they would have made a lot more in the long term if they had released this when they should have.
Yeah, and I hope at this point the execs are like, okay, maybe we old white guys suck at what we think we're good at.
Right.
Who here thinks we need to revisit that discussion? Yeah. And
even then, it's like, I guess they would have made money from it, because they would have made money from it via HBO. Like, yeah. But I thought that the Snyder Cut is I mean, yeah, it is action, it is great storytelling, it is great characterization. It's what I wanted from a Justice League movie. Next up, we get The Suicide Squad. This was August 5th, 2021.
Yeah. We like this one. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, they're like 2 for 2. You know, oh, you guys have actually, yeah. You guys released 2 good ones in a row. Yeah. Good job.
It's like, this is what we want out of a production studio. Wow.
Yeah.
Good movies, huh?
The Suicide Squad was also another excellent movie. And again, had a lot of fun with this one. Now, that's like number 11 here on the list. And so far, you still can't tell me anything about what's to come.
Yeah. And I don't know what you mean by that questioning. Like, what's supposed to come next in the DCEU or what? Like, the connectivity is not there.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing there. There's no connective tissue here. We're just getting a series of movies that have these different characters and IPs. But at least now we're getting some good movies, so that's definitely a big step in the right direction. And I mean, hell, even concerning like the MCU, I've said this. I've said that I would much rather get good movies instead of movies that tie together to get me to a good movie.
Agreed. Don't make me watch 4 crappy movies
Yeah.
to have one good one.
Yeah.
You know? Imagine if that's what Endgame was. We watched 12 years of mediocre movies to get to that one. To get to Infinity War and then a year later Endgame. You know?
Hell, we almost did. Between Infinity War and Endgame, we had to watch Ant-Man and the Wasp and Captain Marvel.
We didn't have we didn't have to. You and I did.
Yeah, they made us think that we had to.
Yeah,
it was clever and deceptive, but we absolutely did not have to.
I am now sad.
Yeah. And then number 12, the latest movie in the DCEU, October 21st, 2022, Black Adam.
Oh yeah. I guess that would have been the outro for the DCEU now. Officially, that James Gunn is like, nope, we're done with it. We're just doing the new product.
Yeah, I mean, kind of, but you know, the ones that were in development are still coming out this year.
So they're not part of the DCU officially then. They're just like, hey, enjoy these movies.
Yeah, the ones that are coming out are the ones that are technically going to be like the capstone on the DCEU.
But I mean, now because that's a dead and dying product, I'm just going to call these individual movies because one, the DCEU never was a connected universe, as we now see from years and a plethora of collective evidence. So these are just going to be standalone products, i.e. your Thomas Jane Punisher, your Blade, your
your Daredevil, your Fantastic Four,
all those movies.
Yeah.
So now it's like that's cool, but let's get ready for the connected and shared universe of what's to come.
Right.
Yeah. What are the 4 products to be coming out? Shazam 2.
Yep. Shazam 2, Blue Beetle, The Flash, and I believe Aquaman 2 would be the last one.
They're still doing a Flash?
Yeah.
Who?
What?
Who's Flash now?
No, it's the same Flash movie they've been working on.
Ezra Miller?
We've talked about this so many goddamn times.
Quentin, I'm still so surprised. I forget. Is he okay?
Oh.
Is he not in jail? Is he allowed to film while he's in jail?
I mean, he hasn't filmed anything in who knows how long. I mean, they don't need him. Like, he's filmed all his shit a long time ago.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Admittedly, we give Hollywood a lot of hack and a lot of judgment, and most of it, I would dare say, from our POV, is righteous. You know, to be fair. But I gotta say, you know, part of DC's problem has been something outside of their control as well, and that is their just chaotic lack of luck when it comes to their casting choices, because they've had some really bad luck. Ezra Miller is one of the names on top of that shit hill right now. You know, it's like, bro, stop. Get out of Hawaii. Stop doing what you're doing, man.
Stop kidnapping people. All right.
Thank you, bro. If you have to warn somebody, don't kidnap people and be serious. Oh my gosh. Yeah. No. That's why I'm genuinely surprised. Like, why would you put him in this product still?
I mean, they can't. How are they going to take him out?
I mean, Christ, at this point, you got to ask yourself like a really heavy philosophical question. Like, is it better to go forward with this product and try to make money? Because ultimately that's all they care about at this point. Because it's like, no, these movies aren't going to help us in the future. They're not going to set up a DCU. They're literally the dying breed of the DCEU as we now know, which you can argue with me on this, sure, and I'll accept that argument. But my point on that argument would be this: it's pointless. You heard that correctly. Like, I don't care if it's fun. I don't care if it's fun and nice and we like it and that's cool. At the end of the day, if your a goal was to do a shared and connected universe and whatnot, like cross storytelling, This doesn't serve that. And above the point of making money, it's worthless. Besides the fact it might be fun and it'll be a fantasy release for us as a fandom, and that's great and that's cool, and I'm down for that. I'm not going to shame that. But like realistically, too, looking at the large hindrance of, hey, now you are also endorsing this actor through your agreements to still release this product. That's why I'm flabbergasted. That's why I'm over here like, are you sure they're still using the same guy? Like, either scrap the project and stand proudly like, no, we're not going to endorse this dude. Like, no, screw that. Or I guess you're right. At that point, it's like you got to fork out more money to do recasting and then refilming and all the time again. And I get that. That's a huge cost. But it's like, I don't know, man. And maybe I'm too much of a romantic at that point, arguably, because I'm like, well, no, I'm going to stand by my honor. All I have is my name in this world. So I'm not putting my name on that. I wouldn't release the movie is what I'm saying.
Gotcha.
I would be like, your actions are deplorable, and me supporting you would be releasing this movie because that would give us pay and you pay, but you're deplorable and everything that you've done up to this point has been like, okay, no, we're not showing support for that. So why would I do that? That would literally be me endorsing you because I'm like, all right, yeah, I'll still represent that. So, and sure, you can argue with me and I'll take that argument, and that's totally fair. That's my vote. And so that's why I'm like, bro, are you sure they're still going with Ezra Miller? I wouldn't. That's a dumbass idea to me. How dare that? It's the same thing with Amber Heard. It's like, But then they did actually cut her time in the movie, too. Mm-hmm. Are they doing the same with Ezra? Are they literally saying he flashpoint himself to death and now we got Wally or something? Like what?
Yeah, no, again, they had the same issue, like replacing the Flash. No, so as far as I know, they're not doing any of that. I mean, like, the way I look at it, if I were them, I definitely wouldn't use him going forward.
Oh, yeah, no, I mean, they better not, because at that point, that's a blatant slap in the forehead, and hopefully James Gunn knows that, too. And he's like, okay, no, you're off your fucking rocker. You need help. You don't need another production studio or another job behind the camera. You need psychological assistance. And that's, again, I'm no authority on that, so whatever. But, yeah.
I would still release the movie.
Nah.
It's my call.
Nah.
I'm not losing how much money just because of one actor. I'm not causing the entire cast and crew to lose money because of one actor. I'm putting the movie out. I am making my studio money. I'm making sure that my cast and crew get paid. And we're going to move on from it. So, yeah, that's what I would do. Same thing with like Amber Heard. People wanting to boycott Aquaman 2. I'm like, make sure that all those other people don't get paid.
I respect the decision they're making with that one, where it's like, okay, so you see we got a volume nod, we got a tone, we got gain over here, we got overdrive, we got distortion, we got Amber Heard. Turn that effect way down. Turn that down. We don't need any of that in this. We don't need any of that. Turn on some reverb. That's fun. No Amber Heard. Yeah. And like, what the fuck is her call time now? Like 15 minutes in the movie?
Maybe.
Yeah, at most. And it's like, okay, that's cool. I can see that, And honestly, if that was an option with Ezra Miller, yeah, I'd do that too. And I'd release it and be like, and he dies. Moving on.
Yeah. Like, if there was a cost-effective way to replace him or to do some shenanigans like that, that'd be great. But there's not. And ultimately, it's like, I know what I'm about. Like, I still watch Miramax movies, even though they were produced by Harvey Weinstein. So it's like, who am I to draw this fucking line when I do other shit that would just contradict that? I'm like, if the movie is good, then it's good. Fuck Ezra Miller as a person. It's almost like the J.K. Rowling and Harry Potter argument all over again. Like, what's your ability to separate the art from the artist? And can you still enjoy something?
Yeah, I mean, we also comically neither of us care about Harry Potter.
That's the great part about that.
Like literally, me in the courtroom, Your Honor, we don't care about that. That's stupid evidence.
Which is why I've never had an argument about it.
Exactly.
I don't know shit about Harry Potter.
Everything we were talking about last night with what Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah,
is that the game? Yeah. Everything
else. That's all I know. That's everything.
Yeah. That's same because we had the conversation. I told you what I know.
I know that Hogwarts is like a school.
Do you remember the name I told you about the
Hogwarts.
big baddie?
No Nose McGee the second.
No. Clearly the first. This is senior.
Oh, that's right. This is a prequel. Yeah, you're right.
And again, the argument you made is a really sound one, and I get that too. And the cast, or the crew, would definitely deserve to get their pay, regardless.
It's a shitty situation.
It's so shitty. It's so bad. It's like I'm so glad I'm not a part of that, and I get to be one of the many, many voices on the sidelines who pretends to have authority over the subject and talk about it on a mic. You know, like at that point, it's like I am content as I am here. Yeah. And the ironic thing is, homies, I say all that, and Q and I both say all this, and at the end of the day, you already know we got to go review the movie. We can't ignore it.
Right.
So guess who's getting my money? So at that point, ironically, as you brought it out too, it's like, call me a hypocrite, in the words of Walt Whitman, if I'm a hypocrite, so therefore I am, I am large, I have multitudes.
And bitches. That's you got to finish the quote. That's what he said.
And bitches. You're broken me. I don't remember Leaves of Grass having that, but okay.
You got to go back and reread it.
I really do. I pulled the book out. I flipped it. That's actually a really early part of that entire the entire writing, and you're just like flipping to it. And it's like, oh, it says right there, and bitches.
And bitches,
wow. That doesn't seem very okay. Whatever.
Walt Whitman knew what he was about. All right. So, wow. Well, so that kind of brings us now more currently. So we know that in October 2022, James Gunn and Peter Safran were made co-chairs and co-CEOs of DC Studios. Woo. And like we mentioned earlier, they report directly to David Zaslav. He's basically the only person who they have to answer to. So if he says, you guys get free reign, they get free reign.
Yeah.
And David, for those of you who aren't familiar with what he's done in his role so far, he is the reason why The Flash was pushed back. He's the reason why Aquaman was pushed back, and he's the reason why Batgirl was just scrapped. He didn't think that those movies. Well, he didn't think that Aquaman and The Flash they're not up to snuff. Let's do some work on. Let's clean this shit up and make it good. And with Batwoman, he said, "I can't do a goddamn thing."
No. He heard my opinion from earlier on that and said, "Yeah, I agree. Yep, we're gonna cut this. Nope, everyone go home. We're done. I'll put you on the next project. I promise." We're gonna call you Batwomen Survivors. You're good.
You're good. Can't do a goddamn thing with this movie.
I forgot. You're talking about the movie. I forgot a movie was even in the works.
Oh, yeah. That movie.
My brain went straight to the TV show, which was already an atrocity.
That was Batwoman. Why y'all disrespecting the women of the Bat universe like this?
I know, right?
Give them something good. All right. First, there was Birds of Prey with no Oracle. Then when we do get Barbara Gordon, it's in what I can only imagine had to have been an incredibly shitty movie, but I'll never know.
Batgirl.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I called it Batwoman again, didn't I? Yeah. Yes, okay. Yeah. And Batwoman was a shitty TV show.
Yes.
Again, though, it's hard to differentiate shit from shit, so, it's shit. This is fun.
And here you have it. Here you have it, folks. Kevin thinks that both girls and women are shit.
Nope. Not what I said. Sir, he is putting words in my mouth. I do not like this. Earlier, we made the joke about being in court about this. So, objection.
Overruled.
No, objection. I need to be heard.
Oh, shit.
What is it called when you're trying to put words in someone else's mouth?
There is a word for that.
There is.
Like
It's a very smart, actual legal term.
Yeah. Shit stirring.
Hearsay?
I like mine better. Your Honor, he is shit stirring right now.
Quentin, we talked about this. You can't represent yourself anymore.
Oh, shit.
Not after the last time.
I can't afford an attorney.
Brother, they give you a free one.
The court-appointed ones are shit.
This is true.
Let me do this myself.
I feel so, imagine being a lawyer who's like, you work as a court-appointed attorney. I feel so sorry for them. It's like, they're not all probably bad, but it's like,
yeah.
Why
yeah,
don't...
Probably, I mean, they get a lot of cases for one thing, I'm sure. And also, they probably look at some of these cases and be like, this motherfucker's guilty. All
right, so first question, you did it, didn't you?
It's like, take the plea deal. I think that's like, we were way off topic here, but that's what a lot of them do is that they try to convince their clients just take the plea deal.
Yeah, take the plea deal. You'll get this benefit, that benefit.
Yeah. You'll be on probation for 5 years and then do court appointed community service.
I killed 20 people.
Don't say that out loud.
Stop. Actually, I shouldn't have said that on the daggum podcast.
Yeah.
Even now, I'm like, I'm joking, clearly.
Because now, if 20 people die in your vicinity, you're
I'm screwed.
Yeah, you're the prime suspect.
It's like, whoa, wait a minute.
I just hope I'm not one of the 20. So what's
dark?
Yeah. What's interesting here is that in light of this news with James Gunn and Peter Safran being brought on, at first it was just purely excitement from the internet. It seemed people were very happy, but then things started to happen and people became a little less happy. For example, James Gunn, he's the one who said, he's the one who had talks with Henry Cavill and whatnot, and they came to the conclusion that unfortunately Henry would not be returning as Superman, and then it kind of snowballed from there. Patty Jenkins, that directed both Wonder Woman movies, was not happy with the meeting she had, and Wonder Woman 3 is not moving forward. And as far as we know, Gal Gadot's status as Wonder Woman right now, optimistically speaking, is up in the air at best. And I mean,
watch, tomorrow we're gonna get the words, nope, they're all fired.
I mean, that's what it's looking like.
Yeah.
It looks like they're basically all going to be
on the chopping block, so to speak.
Yeah. And I mean, I hate to be so blunt as to say, if you want to make an omelet, you got to crack a few eggs. But do you guys want James Gunn to try to fix the DCEU? Or do you want him to start from scratch and do something different? And
right. And honestly, I choose the latter every time. Where it's like, you can repair it if it wasn't in such 12 years of disarray.
Yeah.
But here we are, or I said 12 years.
12 films so far.
12 films.
Since 2013, so 10 years now.
Oh, only 10 years. Oh, it's less disarray. But still 12 films.
Yeah.
So, no. I'm... My entire thought process, I'm proud that ours was similar, differently worded, but very similar. Mine was, sure, we're seeing the consequences of a new person coming in and cleaning house now, but imagine what that house produces later.
Right.
Like, imagine the product we get eventually, and it's like, oh, this was worth it. This was the right call. And the only reason I say that is because I have such high hopes and optimism for James Gunn and David Safran in the thrones that they're in now. Like, I have faith that these are going to be good because they have a careful eye. We've seen the products they put out before, and it's like, oh, they care about their quality, and this is good. And so them cleaning out house, yeah, it kind of sucks. I'm sure you're probably going to say something along the similar lines, but, Henry Cavill's a dope Superman. Gal Gadot's a great Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, listen,
I
guys,
get it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and also, and even if you, well, I mean, theoretically, they very well could have kept both Henry Cavill and Gal Gadot. You weren't going to get Ben Affleck back. You guys burned that bridge a long time ago.
Right.
So, that version of the Trinity, we can never even get again. And so there are a lot of people out there who are upset with James and Peter. And and Twitter's always been a cesspool, but you go on Twitter now and there's people who are trying to get the trend going of fire James Gunn and things of that nature. I'm like, we literally haven't seen what he can do yet in this role. We have no clue. Maybe you guys would be justified in your wanting for his blood or his head on a spike, but we don't know yet.
Yeah. Hopefully, and I say this too, and out of paranoia more than anything, but hopefully the DC execs, what's his name? Big man on top?
David Zaslav.
Hopefully Zaslav is kind of understanding and open-minded of the situation. And he doesn't look at this and think, panic, panic, panic. Oh no, we pissed off the fans. But instead he looks at this and thinks, well, gotta crack those eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that's exactly how he feels. He's the one who canceled Batgirl, so I'm sure
this is true. He's just kind of like, all right, who's next? Yeah, hopefully soon he'll be like, all right, who else we gonna fire today? No, we're done firing people. Are you sure? I haven't had my coffee yet. I can fire somebody. I'm ready. No, David. We'll call you, bro. Don't worry about it. All right, just call me, okay? Let me know. I want to see it. Let me know if they cry.
Let me know if they cry. God damn. That is twisted. Oh.
I'm having a good time.
And, I mean, I don't know how you even fix the DCEU. I mean, I don't even know what that looks like. Because you're not, for one thing, you're not even going to continue the Snyderverse. And that's the only optimistic outlook that the DCEU had for its future.
Here's the DCEU right here. I'm holding on to it. I'm holding on to a metaphorical DCEU in symbolism of a napkin, so to speak, like a little towelette, if you will. Okay, here it is right here. Here's how you fix it, brother. Okay, first you take this fold and you open it. Okay, you take this other fold and you continue opening it. You can even open it all the way if you want to. And then you crumble it all up and you throw it in the trash can over there. It's in the trash now. And you move on. And now you got this new product. There's a DCU over there. I can't reach it. It's across the table. But you open that up and you're like, oh, look, the DCU. It's new. I really forced the rhyme scheme there. Yeah. But you get the point. It's like, is it worth fixing?
I mean, I don't know what you do in order to fix that. I mean, because like in a weird sense, guys, like this is what most of you wanted anyway. Most of you wanted the Flash movie to function like the Flashpoint story and hit the reset button.
Yeah. This is just James Gunn literally hitting it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know. The Flash movie might still function like that. I don't know. But like regardless, that's what happens. Like when the Flashpoint event happened, we didn't get the superheroes in the same way we got the New 52.
You know, earlier I made a comment about like I don't see the purpose behind these next few movies besides DC trying to make money. Now, admittedly, with these movies being in workshop hell for a little extra extended amount of time, there's a chance to really show off just what the capable minds of our boy James and David are able to do, and kind of like really, show off a little bit. Mm-hmm. It might be too late to add a lot of stuff, but it would be enough time to like say, no. Let's put this little bit of love on top. Let's make it a little bit better with this idea and that idea, and be like, oh,
yeah.
So there's optimism coming from me again. So who knows? Who knows?
Yeah. And I've always been of the idea of if it's a good movie, it's a good movie, and that's what I care about more than anything.
Yeah.
So I even if these last 4 movies, don't continue a shared universe, that really doesn't affect my viewing experience that much.
Right.
That would be like saying, oh man, I don't like the Snyder Cut because we won't get to see what happens next. I think the Snyder Cut's an excellent film. Yeah. I care about it being an excellent film.
And that's fair. I full on agree where it's like, if it's a good movie, then then that's a good movie. It doesn't matter if it's a shared or connected universe.
Right.
Yeah. I just really hope they're good movies because unfortunately this track record is muddy.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, because that's where like
I mean,
especially my POV from what we discussed earlier comes into play.
Yeah.
Shazam
2, like I've seen the trailers for it. I'm not hyped for this one if I'm being honest.
No, me neither.
Yeah, it just
brother, I thought we watched it.
Yeah, you are.
I asked you earlier, like we watched this one, right?
I should have said, yeah, Kevin. Tell me what happened in it.
Yeah, we had the Shazam family. They pretended to have some hard comings because they're all walking Superman with magic. And
tell me about the villain.
Anti-family.
It's evil Vin Diesel.
He steals a shotgun because family. No. You know what he says? The most important thing, independency. It's like, no. We're about family in this movie.
Oh, shit.
Instead of being bald, he has an evil toupee.
Right. Oh, the toupee is evil?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So it's like Starro, but it's a toupee and it's controlling him. That's
No. It's just an evil Vin Diesel.
But the toupee is also evil, so.
Well, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So
yes.
You specifically said with an evil toupee.
Yeah. It's just a really evil toupee. It's not like alive or anything. It's not conscious. It's just like, that's an evil ass toupee. Coming from a bald man talking to another bald man.
Right. Oh, shit. We got to talk a little bit about Blue Beetle here.
Yes.
I mean, this one right here probably has like the least hype going for it because
it's so random. Why?
Yeah.
Why are we getting this, dude? We could have got a better Green Lantern. We could have got a Martian Manhunter. We could have got, anything else, really.
Kevin, you have to remember that.
I have to remember, Quentin? I'm really going to take half underlined.
It took the WB like half a year to realize that, hey, maybe we shouldn't make a Wonder Twins movie,
To be honest, I think that would have been pretty hilarious. I would have gone to the theater like, I hope this is really funny.
For all the wrong reasons, I'm sure it would have been.
For all the wrong reasons. Oh, man. But why a Blue Beetle movie? Jesus. Like, I'm so confused.
It's like, and it's nothing against the character, but it's more the idea of when you have so many other legacy characters who you can stand a better chance of making bigger movies with. We're gonna go with Blue Beetle right now. So yeah,
it makes no sense. Like,
yeah, it is very questionable.
I wonder who asked this question because with the evidence of how straightforward everybody who's in charge of the DCU now are, with how much we've heard about them being so like, okay, no, what sense does that make? I'm curious who was the first person who asked, why in the hell did we approve a Blue Beetle movie? Like, who said yes to this project, and how can I make sure they're fired?
Well, they probably already are. I believe that everybody who was involved, like the top 3 heads of like the DC film division, I think they're no longer there. I'm pretty sure that Walter Hamada has recently left.
Good.
Yeah.
I don't even know who that is. I shouldn't be saying that. But I mean, if they're the person in charge of all the micromanaging,
it was like a group.
Yeah. If that was one of the evil like people in the group, then yes, congrats, you fought one of the leveled bosses off. Continue playing the game and fight through the other levels.
Right.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, that is worth making sure because one can only hope,
For real. Yeah.
All right, yeah. Good old Walter Hamada is an American film executive and producer. Let's see.
That doesn't sound good. I don't know.
Let's see. In January 2018, he was appointed president at Warner Brothers Pictures for DC's based film productions before departing from the company in October 2022.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ozymandias. I couldn't stare upon all you mighty works and tremble from that low on the ground. You're going to need to lift the statue and the placard out of the sands of the desert and the waste around you. Oh, so great, dude. So great.
Yep. Yes. So, no, he is no longer there. He's no longer there. Oh,
that's
man.
Beautiful.
Yep.
Oh, that's chaotic beauty.
Yep.
Oh, man. There is justice in the world. Cheers to justice, man. Cheers to fucking good times.
To the League of Justice.
To the League of Justice. That would have made a better movie than Blue Beetle movie. Dadgum. I don't have enough water for this.
Now, what would be amazing is if the Blue Beetle movie turns out to be great.
That would be hilarious.
I mean, it could.
Like, okay.
I know so little about this movie right now. I mean, obviously, I know they're going with the third incarnation, which is Jaime Reyes.
That's a young man, correct?
Yep.
Yes. Okay.
I think that's a good call. Just, I just have no idea what this movie is supposed to. We'll see, guys. We will fucking see.
I don't think they knew what this movie was supposed to do.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
And we already spoke a little bit about Aquaman 2, which, again, I think is going to be the last of the movies coming out.
And all these are supposed to come out this year, you say?
Yep.
Huh.
Yep.
Okay.
We'll see.
All right, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, because of recent years and because of our experiences with Hollywood and how certain movies were promised A, but then all of a sudden it kind of got moved to B, and then eventually we really don't watch until D. I'm not confident enough to put down money, but I'm confident enough to symbolically bet you that we don't see all four of these movies. That one of them is going to be like, nope. Yeah.
That one would either be Blue Beetle or The Flash.
Shazam,
because Shazam we're definitely getting.
Yeah, Shazam we know is ready.
And Aquaman we're definitely getting.
We know it's ready.
Yeah. The only $1 billion product too. Yeah, we're definitely getting.
Oh
Aquaman
yeah, without a doubt. Mm-hmm. It probably ain't gonna make no Billy this time. Ooh wee.
If the same people turn out for this one that did for the first one.
Those same citizens who don't exist except for this movie, yes. Yeah.
So the next thing I have written down here is like what needs to happen now. So the DCEU, as of this year, will be done. So 2013 through 2023, a 10-year run, and then the DCEU is done, and the DCU is the now.
Do we know what this which movie is the first project they're working on yet?
We don't.
Now that I've asked that, they're going to tell it tomorrow.
Yes, they are.
They are. That on the 31st, as he promised. Like, hey, got some news. We're working on Lobo. Yeah.
Yep. We're probably going to get the Lobo confirmation that Jason Momoa is sticking around, just not as Aquaman anymore, but Lobo. We do, I say no, but James Gunn has hinted at and rumoredly said he is going for a younger incarnation of the Justice League. That has me thinking New 52 because they were all younger there.
Yeah. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah.
If that's the case, then the first things that I think they need to do is finish casting who everyone's going to be.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a pretty big part.
That's a pretty big idea. And then once they release the idea of said cast list, I think that would be the first thing to do for a couple of reasons. One, because how are you going to move forward otherwise?
Right.
Two, that's going to turn Twitter around. The Twitter hate base is going to be like, okay, hey, that could actually be cool. Oh, she'd be pretty cool as Wonder Woman. Oh, actually, okay, yeah, James Gunn for the win again.
Right.
Yeah.
But even that is optimistic thought, because
it is.
With the internet, you have to present them. If the internet hates you and you present them with a great movie, the best case scenario is they shut the fuck up. They will never turn around. They'll just be quiet.
Yeah. Actually, I just thought about that. When Henry Cavill came out as Superman, people liked that idea. When Henry Cavill was in one movie where they had a CG mustache, they hated him. Mm-hmm. And now they hated that we got rid of him.
Yeah.
In other words, you can't make the internet happy.
Yeah, no.
You can only make them less unhappy.
Yeah, the internet is a hornet's nest on methamphetamine. You cannot appease that thing.
Not that methamphetamine.
Yes.
And a little bit of that fentanyl?
Oh, well, now they're on like uppers and downers. They're fucking dead now.
A lot of these people really don't have a life.
So some things that I think
you get it because they're dead.
Okay.
I'm proud of that one.
Okay.
That's it. No, that was the wrong button. You meant the other button.
I think some things that need to happen now is one that we've talked about extensively is, I have it written down here, eliminate studio interference.
I think they have. Yeah. What was the asshole's name who got fired after 4 years?
And he was there longer for 4 years, but they had the audacity to make him president.
Yeah. And he greenlit these dumb products.
Yeah.
And he probably never knew what a comic book was.
I don't think so. He doesn't really give me the impression. Now, who I'm most disappointed in, who was also like, one of the big three with him was Jeff Johns. I expected better and more of Jeff Johns.
And they fired him too?
I'm not sure. I don't think, if he's there, it's in a lessened capacity.
If he's there as an executive producer, I would be worried.
And it's so weird because I'm like, Jeff has arguably written some of the very best comic books for DC in the past 20 years.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how in the fuck is it that you have such a weird time adapting these movies? I don't get it.
And I understand.
I mean, he was vehemently against Zack Snyder. Like, one of it's the weirdest shit.
Dude, I don't like that. There's something weird there. Like, just because you're a really awesome writer does not mean you're an amazing storyteller in any medium.
That's true. And this is proof.
And this is proof because at this point, it's like, Jeff Johns on pages is really amazing, even though his name makes no sense once you read it and then say it. But where's the fucking O? But notwithstanding grammatical BS there, that's weird to think about. And it's like, he's been the executive producer for a lot of bad things. And it's like, why? You're good, but why are you so bad too? So I'm kind of excited by the prospect that he won't be involved anymore.
Same.
Like, go back to the books. We know you're good with that, but stay away from the screens. Please. We know you're bad at that.
Yeah. I mean, we've given you ample opportunity and you haven't really shown us anything great. Yeah. So
maybe he's a control freak. Maybe he's an asshole.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That could be it.
I mean, some creative people can be assholes,
Yeah.
I mean, i.e., Neil, I'm not sure I want to have a lunch with Neil Gaiman.
Neil Gaiman, yeah.
Yeah. It's like, he's a really creative mind. I love his works, but it's like, I don't know, man. After watching some stuff with him, it's like, I want a lunch. I don't know.
I haven't really seen much with him in and outside of, like any kind of interviews. Is he like a weird person?
He is a weird person. But I take that back, honestly. Like,
he kind of have to be weird to make Sandman.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, dude. Oh, yeah. You got to go through some things. But, all that notwithstanding, I got to take back what I just said. I thought about it. It's like, the fuck you wouldn't. Like, I would easily take a lunch with Neil Gaiman. I'd be like, you're sending me an invitation?
Yeah.
All right, what you want me to bring? I got you, dog.
Absolutely.
I'll bring some macaroni or something. Yeah. You want that for lunch?
Yeah. It's like, listen, I've already convinced myself. If I had the opportunity to meet Alan Moore, I'm pretty sure he'd berate me the whole time. Like, I've already accepted that fact. But even still, he made The Watchmen. Therefore,
he looks at you the whole time. You're a shit wrestler. You know that?
I'm like, I'm flattered that you know I was a wrestler.
It's like, God damn, looking at you makes me mad. Like, I'm sorry, Alan. I'm sorry. That wouldn't give you like a little bit of an ego kill. Like
I just said, it give me an ego boost. You guys will never guess who's seen my work.
Like, that'd be like if he came up to me and be like, "You're a shit climber." You know that? It's like,
you've seen me climb.
You've seen me?
Yeah.
You made time to watch?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, what would be like deflating? It would be like if he said, "Your take on the Watchmen is all wrong. Like you don't understand V for Vendetta." You know or if he said the Killing Joke was just something I did when I was fucking high.
There's no way you would say that.
Yeah.
No. Like, even if that was true,
Right.
he would never admit that. He'd be like, oh. Truth. He woke up, it was just there, like, oh, this was a weird ass hallucination. Ah, fuck it. I got nothing else. Versus nowadays, he's like, yes, I spent a lot of thought on that. Joking,
right.
of course. But yeah. Shout out to both you, Neil Gaiman and Alan Moore.
Absolutely.
I'd love those lunch dates, please.
That'd be phenomenal.
And please don't insult our wrestling and or climbing.
Another thing they should do is use a variety of flavors, and by flavors I mean tones.
Yeah, Rocky Road, cherry.
There you go. Your movie should not all
Chocolate chip cookie dough. Yeah, I couldn't think of another flavor.
Your movie should not all feel the same. You know, like there's no reason for all of them to have that kind of uniformity. I mean, hell, even before Phase 4, that was something that we were kind of pointing out. We are, if nothing else, the watchers on the wall. We stand amongst the wall and we point shit out, and then 3 years later, everyone else is like, hey,
oh yeah, that thing. And we're just like, Jesus Christ, we said this.
We stood on this goddamn wall and said, hey guys, the fucking frost giants are coming. So
all the people, we like the frost giants, they're really cool. All of a sudden, like friggin' those 3 years later, hey, that really sucked. Okay.
Right. But it's just because people now talk about the sameness of the MCU, and I'm like, there were elements of that actually before Phase 4.
Yep.
But I'm just saying that this is something that they should try to avoid. Try to be like that middle ground in Phase 2, where like you mentioned earlier, man, in 2014, where we got Winter Soldier and Guardians. I mean, that was the only 2 MCU properties, and guess what? It's one of the MCU's best years, according to me.
Yeah.
I mean, just the fact that they were able to put out 2 completely different feeling movies that were both excellent. If the DCEU can replicate something like that, but do it repeatedly, I think that's a huge win.
Agreed.
But yeah, so try to not have that sameness feeling. Even if you were to sit down, not know anything about comic books, right? But you've seen the entirety of the MCU, and I were to show you a new MCU film with a character you're not familiar with, without seeing any of the Marvel logos, you would be able to recognize this feels like a Marvel movie.
Yep.
And that's because it has that texture to it, that familiar taste.
Yep.
I'm not saying it's a bad taste, but it's familiar.
We start 3 scenes in. This was paid for with Disney money. I can smell it.
Another big thing here, and this is sad that any of this has to be included, but it does. Use the canon.
Oh yes. That is so sad. That has to be said, but it's like, and it shouldn't be said, but duh.
Yeah.
Why is this being challenged?
Right.
Yeah. Why has this been challenged? Please do not continue to challenge this.
Please.
Yeah. I mean, look at Marvel right now. That's a living example. We haven't talked a lot about Marvel this episode, so here we go. I mean, this recent phase is without argument their shittiest phase. Shittiest quality, shittiest outcome. Their paydays from this were weak compared to others. So looking at this entire phase, what's one thing that it did that the other phases didn't nearly have as many problems with, besides, box office turnouts and, likability from the general public?
How are we going to cut all this money? That was the big problem.
Exactly. The biggest thing, one of the biggest differences, without argument, I dare you challenge us, is Phase 4 attempted to break away from the canon the most.
It did. And I think we spoke about this on mic. There was an executive who said it's a red flag for them when they were approached by someone who was to work for them who is a fan of the comic books.
Yeah, that's a big red flag. That's I'm sorry. Does Kevin Feige know you work here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's terrifying.
That is so terrifying.
Yeah, and I'm like, how the fuck did this happen? Kevin Feige used to be the guy for us comic book nerds. Mm-hmm. How in the fuck are we getting to this point now where if you are familiar with and a fan of the source material, that's a red flag for you?
Like, why are we getting bastardized by this?
Yeah. Like the liberties that are being taken is getting to the point where you're using the likeness of these characters and nothing else.
That's it.
And that does not need to happen.
If you want to make movies and fun movies, that's all your freedom and your prerogative by all means. But don't proceed to take like Cyclops, Wolverine, and Jean Grey and then change what it means for those three characters to be Cyclops, Wolverine, and Jean Grey. Yeah. Don't. Again, that's really basic. Why do we have to tell you this?
But we do. For some reason.
Yeah.
We'll talk more in depth about this in a few weeks because I plan on doing something similar for the MCU before Ant-Man comes out. So
the death of Phase 4. And how Marvel killed it itself. Hey, you like this puppy? You like the puppy?
Marvel, you strangling my puppy.
What is that scenario? That boy said, here, Marvel, look at my puppy.
Look at my puppy. And fucking Marvel strangles the shit out of it. God damn.
Oh, let me see the puppy.
Mickey, no.
Where did this metaphor go, dog?
I don't fucking know.
I brought in the puppy. I'm sorry.
You did. And then you strangled the puppy. You both introduced and killed the puppy. That was you.
Metaphorically.
But so I guess just in closing here, like in terms of what I think the DCEU should do moving forward here, eliminate studio interference, have a plan. In other words, have something that you're aiming for. Know from the first movie what you want to do, maybe, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 years down the line. Use a variety of flavors or tones. Utilize the fucking canon. And those are, I think, again, very basic and simple things, but I think if you abide by those, you'll be just fine. Get some creative writers in here. You mentioned this earlier, Kevin, but like what the first 3 phases did, man, I mean, they adapted so many great stories.
Hell yeah.
I mean, from the Infinity Gauntlet story to the Winter Soldier story to the retelling of Iron Man's origin and to, they did, Civil War, like they adapted so many of the great hits. And there's a reason for that because they work. Yeah. And if DC can do something similar with that, I think that the DCU will be just fine. Competition is great for the consumer. So that'll cause Disney to maybe step their game up if they were veering off path. And so I think that in the next 2 to 3 years, things will be very interesting.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah. I think that's when Disney and DC both are going to make positive enough changes. Good example. It's like what Evil Within did for Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Talking about video game franchises now. So follow along. Evil Within came out. Capcom said, what the hell is this? They're trying to out Resident Evil us.
Right. Look at the name.
Heck? Yeah. And then it's like, oh, it actually is a great product.
Right. This is a really fucking solid game.
I expect DC to be the Evil Within. Wow, context. And then Marvel to step it up and say, okay, here, let's be Resident Evil, the legit version again.
Right. Give us your Resident Evil 2 remake, Marvel.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Come on.
You can tell I'm excited for Resident Evil 4 remake, by the way.
I'm so excited. We all.
Dude, so ready.
Yes. Dead Space is great, by the way, guys. For those of you who haven't played it. Anyways, Kevin, you got any closing statements, thoughts, comments about the DCEU or the DCU now?
For sure. I'm optimistic. I'm ready, man. I'm curious what these movies this year are going to do. But realistically, my thoughts are already in 2023 and onward.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Also, I cannot wait for this episode to be uploaded here at the righteous, almost midnight hour.
For us to be made obsolete.
For it literally to be made obsolete, because James Gunn is going to say,
oh,
new Superman.
Kevin, but this is great for us. Think about it. people are gonna look at the name of this and think that we got the scoop.
And here we are at the last few minutes, just realizing, oh shit, this might have been.
Yep. We ain't got shit.
Nope. Sorry, guys.
Yep.
We'll probably discover at the same time you did, assuming James Gunn does announce something on the 31st.
Right.
There you go.
Well, homies, I think that's going to be all for this one. This has been a very fun look back at the DCEU, at what they did right, maybe not a lot, and what they did wrong, and what they should do better in the future. So, yeah, again, I think I speak for both Kevin and myself when I say that we are both cautiously optimistic to seeing what the DCU looks like moving forward here. I really want to see what they do here. And again, like, stiff competition is going to be great for everybody, except for, the two that are competing against each other.
Yeah.
But for us, it's going to be fucking great. So can't wait to see what they do. But that's going to be all for this one. Homies, thanks again for listening in. This has been a ton of fun. If you guys have not already, go ahead and give us a 5-star review.
Amen.
If you do give us 5 stars reviews, Kevin will visit you personally and give you a foot massage.
What?
Yes. Stay out of this, Kevin. I'm talking to the people right now.
Wait, what are you doing?
Nothing. I'm talking about.
Is this why you gave me a foot bath? A little foot bathtub?
It's irrelevant, but yeah, you can use that.
Damn it.
5-star reviews really help us out. It helps more people find us.
What's that tool called that you used to kind of like
the exfoliator?
Yeah. Dude, yes, thank you. Yeah, the heel thing.
Yeah.
The exfoliator. Yeah.
I got the motion there. The back and forth hand gesture, sure.
That's all I had. I literally said, hey, what's this thing? Good shit.
Oh, hell yeah. But we'll see you guys again next time. But until then, my name is Superhero Homie Q.
I'll exfoliate the fuck out of them feet. And I'm Superhero Homie Kevin. There you go.